All right, my friends, welcome to episode 325 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony, the dev at Summer Speak. And yet again, we have another podcast where we're talking about a gargantuan purchase. Sony purchases Bungie. And then we're going to talk about a gargantuan love affair with cars with the Gran Turismo 7 State of Play. But let's start with Bungie gets sold again.
Yeah.
What do you think, Anthony?
I remember waking up on Monday, this happening, and I immediately went to my work Slack, and someone had posted it a few minutes earlier, and basically all the response was, "What the fuck?" That's out of left field. And it is and it isn't, but it's not out of left field that Sony is interested. It's out of left field that Bungie was interested, because my God, this is the company that decided they're like, no, we want to be independent.
Twice now, right? From
twice
Microsoft
now,
and then from Activision.
Well, they were never owned by Activision, but
okay.
Yeah, Activision didn't own them. That was just a deal for financing on Destiny, the whole franchise. That's the whole thing where Activision fronted a bunch of money and had like a 10-year agreement for Destiny products. But that's also where there was, after Destiny 1 into Destiny 2 starting, where there was a bunch of conflict over what Bungie wanted to do and what Activision wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
And they found a way to part ways on that one too. So not a buyout buy themselves back, but a hey, we're gonna get out of this contract that we signed 4 years early.
Yeah, we're not doing the 10-year thing. Bye.
We're out. So no, I'm still kind of just completely confused that Bungie is now going to be part of Sony.
It's such a big deal for a company that, and correct me if I'm wrong, has one IP.
Yep.
It's just Destiny, right?
Just Destiny. That's all they've made so far. Not for them having, I'm sure, plenty of other ideas and stuff they're going to work on in the future and probably are working on right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not... I mean, since they've gone independent, they've done Destiny, which was, 2014? When Destiny first came out?
Yes, exactly. I bought a PS4 for that game. Weirdly.
Which probably means it started development a couple years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
2011 or so, whenever they bought themselves back from Microsoft. So they've basically been working on Destiny for a decade at this point.
I feel like at that point you kind of want to move on to something else.
Yeah, but you're independent. You can't. That's the thing.
Well, you can, or you want to move on to something else but get a lot of money to do it.
Yeah, $3.6 billion.
Fuck. It's a lot of money these days.
That is a lot of money, which... I was doing the napkin math on that of, okay, they got bought for $3.6 million. They are not a public company, so there's no market cap to go off of.
Right.
But since they're private, then Sony would go off their EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, I think is that. You go off for that, and the rough back of... the hand math is 10 times that value. That's what they get bought for. So that means they were bringing in about $300 million. Yeah, $360 million.
Yeah.
A year, roughly.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I mean, that's just earnings. So that's, who knows how much their cost is to just run. They're not a small company. They're over 500 people, 600 maybe. So it's not cheap, but maybe this is a thing where they're just yeah, we can continue running like this and it'll be no problem. But man, with a big, huge infusion of cash, we can build out a couple more teams, and make a couple more properties, which is cool. And it sounded like from Sony's side, they were talking that they just want Destiny as a franchise. Completely. They want to do more with it.
They want the fucking movies.
They want movies. I assume TV show in some ways. Because they have the Uncharted movie coming out very soon. And then, what was the TV show that they're already doing?
Sony?
Yeah.
Oh, Last of Us on HBO.
Yeah, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So I really do think if one of those is successful, they will push harder in their properties going there. Like God of War and Horizon would totally be up there for potential.
Oh my God, they have so much. They have so much they could do. Like, I would love watching those TV shows. That'd be great.
Yeah. I think they see the value in that. So, and I think they see the value in Destiny, where I think Bungie doesn't do the best job executing on the story. It's not that there isn't interesting story. There's interesting lore there.
For sure.
To the world and what's the build and how, like, all the connective tissue of it. The game is unfortunately the worst way to experience it.
Yes.
Same way they work with Halo, unfortunately, in a lot of ways. They just don't do a good job of meshing those two things together very well.
And there may be a different way. I mean, okay, in that kind of genre, it seems to me that it would be hard to bring that kind of lore in, whereas like in an RPG, it's like way fucking easier.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's ripe, like the Halo universe. You know, they've done books, they've done comics, they've done. They're doing a show now. Like they've done lots of ways where they dump that out. I don't know if Destiny's done anything besides the Grimoire cards.
No, I don't think they've done that. I think they've done it's the cards, and they've done some compilation books. That's not like stories, but it's like collecting the lore into encyclopedias, basically.
So like a literal lore dump.
Yeah, it's a literal lore dump. I've seen those around. So yeah, but I think like Sony might want to push on them more, take some of that, and try some different styles at telling the story.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, like the stories. Fucking Sony Studios are so good at telling stories. But or like we have Sony Pictures, we have the television and movie apparatus. Like we offload that to us, and we will do it. You don't need to do it. Make your games. We'll take the next step.
Yeah. So I think that's what Sony wants out of it more than anything. They talked that they're going to keep them very independent for the time being. Like Bungie gets to do what Bungie wants to do, which is true to a point. They probably have freedom to do whatever they want on Destiny. But I can't imagine a world where they can just go ahead and start making a second game or a third game without some level of approval from Sony at this point. Like, they're gonna have to sit there and pitch it to the executives of Sony, going like, this is the next game we want to make. This is why we want to make it, and why it could be big.
And then Jim Ryan says, "No, you're gonna do the next Killzone."
There you go. Oh.
Oh, that's not happening.
But I mean, in the past, Sony has been very open to things like that. That's why we have Horizon now.
Right.
Guerrilla's like, hey, this is a thing we want to make, and they clearly pitched it very well to Sony. They're like, yeah, we'll give you the runway to try it, and it worked out very well. So,
which just feels such I don't know if the right term, like a vertical or whatever. Something it's very different than other stuff Sony does. That it seems like an easy pitch. Speaking of that, new one's coming out soon, so yay.
Yeah, a couple less than 2 weeks. 18th. So
next Friday.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Jeez, yeah. This was a weird thing. Like, Bungie, looked it up before we streamed, sold to Microsoft between 20 and 40 million back in 2000. That's when they got bought. I mean, that's so long ago, like, it's over 20 years. So it's hard to find a lot of information on, like, why they sold back then. Like, Halo had been in development. It had been shown off on a Mac at Macworld. Because historically, Bungie had been a Mac developer. Marathon and Marathon 2 were Mac-only FPSs. Then they made Myth, the Myth series, Myth and Myth 2, which were cross-platform but also playable on Mac. Fantastic games. I love the Myth games. RTSs, kind of. You don't base build. They're amazing games, though. God, I love those games.
That's an interesting pivot from that to Halo.
It was. Then they did Oni at one point, which, again, Bungie was like multiple studios, because like the people making Oni were not core Bungie originally. They were a team that Bungie acquired. And then they did, I think was Halo after? Must have been.
When did our first Halo come out? Like 99? Or is that
no? So Oni was 2001.
Oh, okay. So
Halo Combat Evolved was also 2001. It was like 6 months later.
Yeah.
So they had already been working on Oni. Oni came out as a PC game, like a cross-platform thing. And then Halo, which was supposed to be all crazy, I mean, probably PC Mac thing, they get bought by Microsoft. They rework the game so that it actually fits. The levels can fit in the memory of an Xbox.
Right.
Which is why it looks particularly different than the demo videos in the Mac world, which were very open world.
Right.
Guess what? Xbox doesn't have the actual internal RAM to handle a map that large. So you get the Halo that we know, which is go from combat encounter to combat encounter, basically, so that they could section off the maps for loading and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that came out. They got bought, a year before that came out. And that was, the killer app on the Xbox.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's pretty much the only reason you bought an Xbox.
Yeah, it was an iconic franchise for that box. That's why everyone bought it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else Gears of War doesn't even come close, and it's also really popular and really, well done, but Halo is like Mario of Xbox.
Yeah, and I think Gears of War didn't even come out until the 360. I can't even remember the stuff that was like super big on the original Xbox. The first Assassin's Creed was Xbox. That's where I got that. I remember getting an Xbox to play Assassin's Creed, the first one.
Because it was exclusive to Xbox?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised it wasn't on PC.
Not at the time. I don't think it was on PC. I would have bought it on PC if it was.
Right. Exactly. It must not have been if you bought an Xbox for it.
Yeah, I remember I had to get the Xbox to play that game. Which was nice. I think it gave me a nice big back catalog of things to play.
Yeah.
Or no, Assassin's Creed was 360. Sorry. That was already too late. Fuck. What the fuck was on the original Xbox beyond Halo?
What's that fucking Fusion Frenzy?
Oh, geez. Oh, wow. Yeah, let's not talk about that one. But yeah, so, Bungie went through that. They bought themselves back by basically saying, well, you can either let us leave and stay as Bungie, or we're all quitting and forming a new company anyway.
Right, so might as well get some money from us.
Yeah, here's Halo, and we're out.
You can have the husk of the company. We're gone.
Yeah.
Either way.
But it was totally, that was how they presented it was either Microsoft lets them leave peacefully and gets to keep, they will make a couple more Halo games on their way out, or they just are all going to quit, take their, most of the company is just going to quit and move and just basically move into a new office and be a new company that's the same company and make their own thing, which was probably Destiny to begin with anyway, but still. Because Microsoft wasn't going to let them make anything but Halo at that point. So, and they weren't interested in making Halo anymore.
And then they went and made
Space.
Destiny.
Yeah, which is...
It's really similar. Obviously the lore is different,
but from a gameplay standpoint, you're like,
yes, exactly.
FPS in power armor. Okay, if you squint, you can see Halo in there. You're like, yep, cool, with an AI talking to you the entire time.
Oh my god, Dinklebot.
But still, yeah. And who knows if they had to pay it, what money they had to pay then to get out. But either way, they got out.
Yep.
But I guess couldn't let it be. Well, they're making a lot more money this time, so I'm sure any of the old guard at that company that's been around since the Microsoft days is going to make a shit ton of money. And maybe that's all they wanted. Maybe they were just done.
Just moving, I don't know, they're smart people. 7-8 years ago, we're doing our thing. We know when we're done, we're going to get a big payday. So great. When we're done, we'll find someone. Someone will buy us.
And Sony's probably not a bad choice there. They've done very well to the companies that they've bought, generally, at least given them the freedom to prove themselves. Sorry, Sony Bend, but you guys did get the chance to make the game you wanted to make. So, and it just didn't work out as well. So, but they seem to be more focused on the teams getting to be passionate and make the thing they're passionate about. So
and Sony Bend now is working on a new original IP, so they got a chance to do it again. I don't know if it's like their choice of original IP. Maybe it's Sony's choice of original IP, but I don't know. That game is such a critical opposite of Darling, but the players seemed to like it well enough.
I don't know. There's many streamers and stuff that I hear that will bring that up and just hate Days Gone.
Oh, okay.
They're like, it is dog shit. They are. I think most like there's a dedicated fan base to it, but then there's most people I know talk about. They're just like, it is a true 7 out of 10 game. Like, it's not horrible, but when you compare it to other first party Sony games, it's not at the same level as like God of War or Horizon. And who knows why? Like that's. To me, there's a part of it that feels like there's still companies that are pushing the zombie thing, but that seems to have fallen away as like a huge audience attractor anymore.
For sure. And Last of Us 2, I mean, obviously they're clickers or whatever. Fucking they're zombies. They're zombies. Yeah. But Naughty Dog has like so much more going for it than just the zombies. It's like, I'm in for the rest of the shit. I know the zombies are there, whatever, but they like the art, the fucking storytelling, the voice acting, the animation, like all that's great. And then there's zombies. Yeah.
So I don't know. We're way off topic, but yes, Sony. Sony bought Bungie. Yep. That happened. This probably is not in a response to Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. This is being a private company and having to get all that earnings and revenue data together to be bought. This has probably gone on for 6 months before this was announced. Like, so I don't see this as a response. It just happens to work out around the same time. But
I mean, it just makes sense that two industry titans are looking to buy companies at the same time. Like they know consolidating. They know what's happening. And
this is going to be a big thing in the industry for the next couple of years. It's just a consolidation point. So next up is buying Take-Two or Ubisoft or Square.
Ubisoft, man. I just can't imagine they're not next. Because, I don't know. Embattled a little bit at the top. Izumo is, he's older. I know it's a family business and there's pride in that, but don't they want to get paid too? I don't know. And they have like a fucking wealth of IP.
Yeah, they really do.
Done nothing with for a while.
And their market cap is just over $7 billion.
Yeah.
So let's say they get a nice like premium buyout at like $9 billion is the offer. Like that'd be really good. And
it'd be hard to say no to
all these big companies could do that. They could easily swing that.
Just make Mario and Rabbids 2 first. Release that first.
There you go.
Then, we need that game. The world deserves that game.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be weird over the next couple years. I think we'll see huge consolidation in the industry.
Just don't buy Nintendo anymore.
Great. I think Nintendo's would be very hard for anybody to buy, even Microsoft. Nintendo was like, I don't think Nintendo would sell.
I think that's the main thing. They won't sell.
Oh no, their market cap was $59 billion, so less than Activision Blizzard. So Microsoft could theoretically, but it's not even just like they want to sell. I mean, that's the thing with public companies. It's just you have to be able to get enough shares.
Yep.
I don't know how distributed Nintendo shares are.
Well, I'm not going to sell my one share of Nintendo.
There you go.
I'm the one holding.
You're gonna hold out, and they're gonna be like, "Man, we have 49.9999% of the shares. If only this one person would buy it. Let's sell it." No.
Oh man. Oh, I'd probably sell it for $1 million.
Yeah, I'm sure. Why not?
Yep. No. Yeah, so I mean, Sony's been in the news obviously for Bungie, and that's crazy. But also, Gran Turismo 7 had a state of play that was wow,
it was 30 minutes of very pretty cars.
Ray tracing, fucking 4K cars.
Yeah, ray trace 4K, 60 frames per second, HDR, like the whole thing. Like, this is a gorgeous looking game overall, which I expect. I mean, they always look amazing and push the hardware. What I didn't expect was just how much like non-racing stuff is in this game. Like,
I can't believe it. That's what sold me on the game. I'm like, I'm not interested in the racing, but the wrapper, there's so much.
There's so much. So, like, do you want to learn about this manufacturer, its entire history, and the cars? Do you want to learn from interviews with the designer of these cars, like why they look like this and are designed this way?
If you love cars, this is a love letter.
Yeah, it really is.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Man, if there was like a game like if Rocksmith did this for fucking guitar, like, I wouldn't even play it. I would just listen and watch and read. Fuck.
It's insane.
The weather they talked about, the way that they engineered blew me away. Like the way that the atmosphere changes with certain temperatures and certain like the water accumulation rises up to a certain level of the atmosphere, and that's how the clouds accumulate. We simulated that, and like the water on the track dries up in different places naturally how it would in the real world, and it's just like fuck. So the temperature of the track impacts everything. The weather, the fucking car, how it moves. Wow.
It's an incredible amount of detail here. Over 400 cars in the game.
Yeah, right.
All incredibly realistically modeled. Yeah, I don't know. I was very impressed. It is exactly why this is the racing game that I always play. It just reinforced, like, I'm like, oh yeah, if there was ever a racing game that was an RPG, this is the game.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's so well put. The way that you can customize fucking everything. And they were customizing the VW Bug, right? And like the stock versus the racing is like, oh my god, there's huge differences. And like it is a car PG.
It is
a car PG.
And even the career mode starts you in that way. It's like you start out with like a very small amount of credits, and you have to buy basically just the stock coupe car and start racing with it and win with it. And you can like earn credits to sport it out better, to do better races, to get better buy better cars. It is exactly what I need in a racing game for my mind to just dig into it, because it's not a racing game anymore. It is a progression.
Yeah, totally right. And it was weird because like I enjoy those things as well, not at the level you do, but I enjoy them enough that made me think, because I was not going to look at this game. And I was like, I'm still not going to get it. But I was like, wow, there's a lot here for people who maybe don't care about the racing.
Yeah.
And the music stuff, the fucking way it cuts in the AI kind of like gives you your replays, key to the music.
Man, I'm looking forward. I want to see what the entire soundtrack is for this game.
There were some fucking great songs on that.
I have some fond memories of earlier game soundtracks. So, and they have their range from like Euro track synth stuff to rock. Like I remember Gran Turismo 2, I want to say, like had a lot of had Garbage on there and the Cardigans. I love the music that they had from them on there. Just some really, really great tunes to just like fly around a track on. So I'm excited. There was stuff here where there's like all those like fan favorite tracks from the past are coming back, because they showed some clips of like running a track, and I'm like, oh no, I remember that track. I've put dozens of hours to playing that track. Oh, that's that oh my god, I can remember this still. I can envision myself sitting in my bedroom going around this track with a Subaru, which I think is in the game still, that Subaru. It's an older car, but it's one of the used ones you can buy. Yeah, the WRX Type R 99.
Oh yeah,
great car. Oh, I love that car, driving that car. Yes, this is how I can actually live this in my life, because I will never own these cars in a real life, or will drive like this in real life. So this is a safe place.
Exactly. No one's
do
dying
this
here.
And have it realistically simulated. Yeah, I was excited. I saw it and I was just like, yep, this is it. And it also feels like, I say this a lot with like Nintendo stuff, with like Smash and Mario Kart 8. This feels like Polyphony Digital's magnum opus of Gran Turismo. Like, because they even talked like there'll be downloadable content for this game, so more cars in the future and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the Gran Turismo game we get for at least a decade, if not longer. Yeah,
right.
And that's great. And they're putting everything into this one game.
When they had talked about, like tracks at launch, I'm like, oh, they got plans.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Well, and you put so much money into this, the not the platform, fucking engine. There we go. The engine and everything's, modeled so meticulously. The extra work to do extra packs, like the car nerds are going to fucking eat them up. People are going to want the car that they don't have in there.
Yep.
And I say car nerds affectionately.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I was impressed. I'll say that. Like,
it made me think briefly of the music stuff that I'm doing. Like a lot of the amp sims that I have Neural DSP. I don't know if you know them, but they make some fucking killer amp sims. And it's like you can get down to like where the mic is placed, what mic you're using, what speaker you're using, the speaker cabinet, everything. You just fine tune everything to the nth degree to get like a variable tone. And it's like that tweaking. Like once you get into it, it's just like it's like Zen in some way. And this is
game,
this is that plus.
This gets there.
Yes, amped up to 1 million. I wonder, is there any? It's all track based. There's no like open road, open.
Nope, they do not do. This is you race tracks. Which Horizon is more open, but it is more arcadey for being open.
It is. I just the way that it looks, the weather, how beautiful it looks. I'd be like, it'd be so cool to just go on the open road and just drive around. Kind of like what the crew like promised and did not deliver.
Did not deliver. Yeah. No, the most that you're gonna get out of this is they had the music rally thing, which was like not. It's basically they call it their version of arcade style thing, so it's just like you can tone down the simulation, so it's a lot smoother, and it's just like, hey, drive to good music, basically, at whatever difficulty you want. So yeah, I think it will. Yeah, it will do auto brake and everything like that. Show you driving lines.
And Horizon
that's as close as you're gonna get to like just kind of a chill, just drive on the road kind of experience. Because that's just not what these games have ever been about. They're like, nope.
It's kind of a cool nod to the crowd that wants that more arcadey thing, but wants the car porn. Because I mean, Horizon has car, customization and different kind of cars, but it's not nearly at this level. So like I want all this car porn, plus I want to have fun playing. Well, here's a little mode you can have fun playing.
And then maybe you'll enjoy it enough to get your license and start racing.
Right.
Because you still have to get licenses.
Yeah, I love how they slipped it in. Like you have all the license tests. Like I was like, the what?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first Gran Turismo. Actually, Travis and I remember being at his place and us going through the licensing tests because he got the game before I did. And we're just going back and forth, just trying to get our initial license so that we could start the races. And I know that Polyphony Digital over the years has been dinged for that. People have been like, are you seriously still continuing having people have to do this license stuff before they can actually get to the meat of the game? And they're like, yes, you have to know how to actually drive to play this game.
It's not fun. You just throw them in. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah, basically that's their whole point. They're just like, no, like this is a driving simulation. This is how we train people to actually know how to drive, even at like a very basic level. And of course there's B license, A license, and I think a couple more above that. As you get much higher and much more powerful cars, you have to do more and more. And they're like, there's no point of you trying to do a race with this car if you don't know how the techniques to drive. Because you will just fail and slide off the track and come in last all the time. So
that was my experience, by the way, with Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Larry doesn't have a ton of patience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, License Center, License B2. They have. I'm looking at the blog picture of it. B2, starting and stopping to drive a fast car for 400 meters, then stop. And when they say stop, there's an area that you're supposed to stop in. Go as fast as you can and then stop in this one, like, very specific
It feels very
area.
It feels very Nintendo, and I don't know if that means that it's very Japanese. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that far, but it feels very Nintendo to be like, we have a very intentional way we want you to play this game. Here it is. You're doing it.
Yeah, you accept that or you don't play the game, and that's okay.
Exactly, yeah, totally.
Kind of. I don't think it's just Nintendo. It's just teams that are just like, and creators that just have a very strong vision of the game that they want to make and play. And Gran Turismo happens to have an audience with that. And I respect them for being like, no, this is the type of racing game that we make and we want to make. We're not looking at the demographics on like what racing games sell the best, like Mario Karts and stuff. They're like, we're not interested in that. This is what we want to make. We love cars and this is the game.
Yep.
If you love cars, this is your game. Basically.
I can see people who don't give a fuck about video games, don't care about the racing. Well, maybe the racing part, but like just to get in there and get under the hood of all these cars in a virtual setting. Like I can see some people buying it just to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some Kotaku article in a year.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, this was really exciting just to have a half an hour to see on this. It got me hyped for it. So.
Well, and like a month out, like it's really nice timing.
Yeah, it is. So we get a little under 2 weeks to Forbidden West, and then a month until Gran Turismo 7. Seems pretty great there. And then, what did they announce at the end? Ghostwire.
Ghostwire Tokyo, yeah.
Which is first party as well?
Is it first party? I thought it was the ones who did...
It's well, it's not first party.
Within.
It is Ghostwire Tokyo. Who are you? Ghostwire Tokyo. Oh, it's a publisher is Bethesda.
That's right. Oh yeah, it's one of those.
And it's only and this is the thing. It's timed console exclusive. It's a PC. It will be out on PC and timed console exclusive on PS5.
Right, because it'll be on Xbox
in a year probably. Yeah. But still,
right, Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop, I think, were the two Bethesda games that were still coming to PS5.
But it's developers. So publisher is Bethesda Softworks. Its developer was Tango Gameworks.
That's it, Tango. Yep, the ones who did Evil Within.
Yep, Japanese developer. So okay,
yeah, looks unique. It's not really my kind of game, but maybe if the reviews are stellar and says if it's not your type of game, give it a look anyways. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, it has an interesting. I like the art style and kind of everything to it. It looks super unique and like first person like magic casting kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So my interest is piqued. I will not be buying it, but like you said, if reviews are generally positive for it and like, oh, it's a cool game, then it'll be on a list of like, oh, if it goes on sale at some point, I'll probably pick it up. But I have plenty else to play for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have. It's not a dearth of games.
Yeah,
and, I mean you've pre-ordered, I think, Horizon.
Yeah.
So that's on the docket, and you're still playing. I guess a good segue. I guess what we're playing. You're still playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
A little bit. I've jumped between that and a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, and then on Friday I feel like, oh, I can this will keep me occupied until Horizon. Is Path of Exile had a new league. Because it's been 3 months. It's always new league time.
Right.
And this was a fairly large thing. They call it's new leagues, but they call once a year they have a bigger league they call an expansion. So they rework the entire end game again.
Oh, damn.
Which is fine. Like it's just neat in that regard. So it's the game that never stops giving and always tries new things in the action RPG space. So that's been between those games. I've keeping myself occupied until the 18th.
Yeah, it seems like you're gonna make it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need to focus on game wise until then. So work and then play one of those games for a little bit. Just wait until that Friday. I am still getting a physical copy of Horizon though. So
you're waiting for it to come in then.
So I mean, it will arrive on Friday, but it will be later in the day.
Right.
So, which is good. So it won't arrive until it will arrive when I'm generally getting done with work. So I'm not tempted.
Right. So you're not gonna be distracted or tempted. Yeah, tempted is the right word. Yeah, because if digital, 9 p.m. the night before, I think, because usually let's loose. For me in the last week, and I don't know if it was this last week or the week before when I tried Vampire Survivors, but I did one round and quite enjoyed it. I think I made 13 minutes. I think that's how far I made it.
Not bad for a first attempt.
Yeah, it felt really intuitive. There was the point, I kind of like just the different hordes coming in, like the bats and whatever different hordes. Yeah. But the part where like the plants circle up around you felt a little bit artificial. But I was like, oh, it's just like Battle Royale shit where the cloud, the storm kind of encircles you. But that was good. I've the loop of getting the treasure and leveling up your items, and it all felt really good. Really enjoyed that. I didn't play a second round though, because I started making music, but maybe I'll play one tonight. Last week, I believe we had the conversation where I was going to talk to my daughter about what the next game is, right? We talked about Pokemon. And I was like, had the conversation with her. I was like, look, we've had a lot of fun playing Paper Mario, a couple of the games, and I want to, get another game that's E for everyone, because she knows the ratings. Like E and E10 is what we play. We don't play anything else. Like when she saw one that had a T on it, she's like, oh, that's T for teen. We can't play that. It's like, yes. And I was like, I want to get another E for everyone game like Miitopia. And she was like, huh, Miitopia. So we've been playing Miitopia every morning. We didn't even get to the Pokemon conversation. And again, we're like back into it. We probably put like 6 hours into it, 5 hours into it in the past week. And 2.5 of those were today. So fun. And we got, we're like leveling up our characters. We're like grinding through, like we're just like kicking everyone's ass. It's like Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, David Bowie, and Gwen Stefani. That's our characters. And then the main bad guy, when you're sleeping, takes all your characters, takes away your job. So you're back to level 1 when you're moving into the next kingdom. So when you move into the next kingdom, it's a level 1. You have to choose a new job. It won't let you choose the job you had before. So we were a pop star before, and now we're a cat. my daughter chose all these. And then you slowly start gaining new party members. And one is a scientist and one is a cleric. The scientist is kind of cool. But it's a it's a scientist, like crazy, I don't know, like Doc Brown hair with a beaker in his hand, or her hand. And then you can do male or female, whatever. And then your first skill is glitch, where you exploit the code in your enemy's DNA or whatever, and you damage them. And he just like throws the beaker down, like starts typing on a virtual keyboard, like it's a hacker or whatever. I was like, okay, that kind of scientist. All right. But it was so weird how it just like knocked you back to level 1, and you just had to like, you're in a new land, so the enemies are a little harder, but you have nothing, literally nothing, and you start over, and we're like losing. Like, what the fuck just happened? Like the momentum just like ground to a halt. And then we started getting new characters, and it started getting a little easier, and we went back to earlier levels and grinded a little bit to level up. So I explained. She's like, "Why are we going back to earlier levels to battle enemies we fought before?" Like, let's talk to you about grinding and what that means. She was like, "Oh, that's weird." It's like, "Yeah, this is a little weird." But we got our first character. She's like, "I want to name it Taylor." I'm like, we already had a Taylor. I'm understanding how games work. I'm pretty sure our whole party is going to come together later, so there'll be 2 Taylors. And she thought that was hilarious. And she wanted to make it a female Taylor instead of a male Taylor. I was like, "So is this Taylor Swift?" She's like, "Yes, this is Taylor Swift, and that's Taylor Hawkins." So yeah, just a ton of fun. Really, again, it's a button simulator, but it's great. And then today, we had split the Joy-Cons because we were doing Just Dance earlier in the day. So I still had the split Joy-Cons and started at Miitopia. And then I was like, wait a second. I just gave her the right one. I was like, you're in charge of the A button. I'll move us around. Nice. So we were playing like that. It was so cool. She was really into it. And she was laughing her ass off at like it's just that kind of humor, like the dumbest shit. And she was just
perfect
loving
for kids.
It was perfect. It's perfect. So that was fun. And then when she was down for nap, I did a little bit of work. I was getting my work done, and at the same time I was doing my work, when I was searching for something, I found a file in a folder that I thought I'd lost. And I was like, "Oh my God, thank Christ, this folder is here. I thought I lost it. I'm gonna I'm going to copy it from OneDrive to my desktop. When I did that, it was 2.5 gigs, and it took forever. And I was like, it wouldn't let me access any of the other files I was working with. I'm like, well, I guess I got to play a video game. So I went to the living room, turned on my PS5, and I was like, what do I want to play? And I opened up Shadow of War, which I'd never played, even though I'd loved Shadow of Mordor. So I loaded it up, and it starts like a earlier on, it like kind of recaps Shadow of Mordor, and then it kind of dumps you into finding Celebrimbor, the spirit who inhabits you, and going through like learning how to do stealth or whatever. And it's a little I don't know, I always find like the camera button slow. Like I'll tap it and then like half a second later it'll move, and it's a little annoying to me. But anyway, you get to the first, that's like the prologue to kind of like remind you how to do the shit. Then you get to the first act, like it does the title screen, Shadow of War. And you get to the first act, you're a Minas Ithil, I think, and you're trying to kind of take down the orcs that are going to try to take the last bastion of Gondor. And you start the game, and I was like, oh, fuck. We're going to do this thing where in the first game, you build up all of your skills, and then at the start of the second game, they take all of your skills away. You have to build everything up. No, they don't. You start with a lot of the skills that you finished the game with, and I thought that was so fucking cool. Like one of the skills.
That's actually cool.
It is. It was really cool. It's like, oh, I don't have to do that loop again. I felt like I was starting to get frustrated because that was what was going to happen, and then it didn't. It just starts with a bang. Like you pick up a skill to like poison like a grog, basically like big grog barrels around the orc encampments. And I walked up to him. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that yet. And it gave me the prompt, says poison the grog. I was like, wait a second, they didn't take that skill away? And there are other skills that I don't have, or else I didn't remember how to do them or whatever. I didn't look very closely. But like jumping from high places, like you can do that. Certain stealth kills you can already do, executions you can already do. I was like, these are things that I had to learn later. This is like that. What a great decision. That feels really cool. And I'd never played it when it came out. And I know there's a controversy about like how the monetization and whatever else they had. And it was like on the title screen, it says, basically, I'm paraphrasing this, but it says, all that shit that was dumb, we took it all out. So you can't do any of that anymore, and it's not going to be there for you. And it just launches you into Orc Murder Simulator and just like shows all the orc captains, and you're doing the intel, and you're doing the shit that like you really get good at doing 3/4 of the way through Shadow of Mordor right at the beginning. So if you didn't play Shadow of Mordor, that might feel weird because you're just thrown right into it. But if you played Shadow of Mordor, it is like so refreshing to just be like, oh yeah, it's the thing I loved, but in a new place. I'm already powerful. Yes. It was awesome, man. It felt really good. So that's what I played this week.
All right, then.
More than usual.
Check out some of the Shadow games. They've always looked interesting to me, but...
You didn't play Mordor?
Nope.
Oh, man. Like, as in, it's like, it's Shadow of, it's fucking Lord of the Rings Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It's what it is. Which is awesome. The first one's like bleak though. Like it really is just like monotonously bleak. And this one already looks different. So I don't know. If you have Shadow of War, I'd maybe just go there.
I think I do somewhere. There's a good chance I do.
It was free on PS Plus at some point. So
then I have it.
Yeah.
Looking at Shadow of... Yeah. I worked with a senior designer on there. Mohan.
Oh, you do now, right?
Well, so no, he was in Shadow of Mordor. He was a designer on Shadow of Mordor and a couple earlier Monolith games and Surreal stuff. But a senior design, like a guy who left PopCap, worked on Shadow of War. Mohan Rajakablan. Was a really cool dude. I just had to make sure he was actually in the credits there, and he totally was. Yeah, he was a senior designer on Shadow of War.
Well, good job, dude.
Yeah, like that's a fun one.
I don't think I've been pleasantly surprised at something that I was dreading in a game in a while. Like I do
love it like that. They're just like, here you go. You're as powerful as you were at the end of the last game. We're just going with it.
And I'm sure there are some skills that I didn't dig in too deeply. In the 40 minutes I had to play. There might be things that you have to re-up or whatever, but Boy, it just goes.
Yeah, we're
It's
not
like
going to completely Metroid you this time.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like Metroid is always the beginning. Samus has nothing. Like, how is that fucking possible?
Yeah.
But it is. Adam took my tools away and doesn't let me use them until he says I can.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, it's fine. It works for the trope that game now inhabits, but it's definitely a thing of being like a suspension of disbelief continues to go on in a lot of games that do that with direct sequels.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was a Metroid, and maybe this has happened and I don't know it, but wouldn't it be cool if there was a Metroid where you start off with everything and then you just have to get more stuff?
They don't take it away from you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a lot of them start, like Prime starts you with like a souped up Samus. Like you are Samus, like you have your missiles and everything, but by the time you're done with the tutorial, you have none of it.
Yeah, that makes
it's all gone, and you're like, well, shit. Okay, you're right. This is a Metroid game. I guess we have to do this.
That's the point. Is starting from nothing.
Yep. Yeah. Now they just hand wave it away for the most part. Don't even try to make it seem that way. That you have.
Yeah.
The
audience knows what they're buying.
Yeah. But that's cool. Well, awesome.
Yeah, super good stuff. Well, that was episode 325 of Prof and Dev Play Games. He is at SummerSpeak. I am at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. If you like our podcast, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. Tell a friend or two. And we will be back next week for that fabled Nintendo Direct.
I know. It's going to happen here at some point.
Just every week I'm going to say it. And It's going to happen. I'm going to be like Nostradamus at that point.
There you go.
Not anymore, actually. I've said it too many times. All right, folks. See you next week.
Later, everyone.